Okay, it's 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and salute to the flag, the United States flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now honor the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
And now we'll have a prayer.
Lord, thank you for all the gifts you've given us and a wonderful start to the school year. Please continue to keep all the children and faculty safe, and please help us be guided by you. Amen. Amen.
Well, I guess we'll start with some student spotlights. We've got a couple of kids here that are professional grade singers, is what I would call them, and can go to moment's notice, short notice. And the faculty, the entire staff had gone to Waco for that convocation, that conference of joy that was at the Baylor Stadium. And so we had to have a little bit of a scaled back convocation here, but we asked these two guys to sing and they stole the show. And Jaden Moore and Lily Kinsey. Jaden sang Fly Me to the Moon, and he even added some dance moves. It was quite impressive. The crowd loved it. And then Lily followed with I'd Rather Go Blind, and both just really amazed that whole packed crowd. They loved it. It was awesome. And so I asked Shreet to add a few words. Miss Wells said these two are not just amazing vocalists, they're also hardworking, reliable, and talented in many other ways. And Ms. Shove, principal, said Lily has delivered chilling renditions of the national anthem, but her voice is not the only thing that makes her special. She's a true leader and a standout student. She serves as the class of 2028 secretary and the Gatesville High School FFA president. Ms. Shove also stated Jaden is driven and sets the bar high for himself. He approaches music with a relentless work ethic and a genuine desire to grow. Whether he's competing on the high school soccer team or broadcasting with our campus media crew, he's a leader among his peers and a true asset to the campus. So we're proud of both you guys, a whole bunch. They did a great job, and boy, it's talented singers. Very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And I said that they would sing a little bit for y'all tonight. So go ahead. No. Really?
Sit up, short notice.
Yeah, short notice. Here we go. All right, Lily, Jade, we've got certificates for you guys, and we want to take a picture. Let's have Sheree, you want to come up and show? Y'all come on up. Get the whole crew here.
Awesome. That has my good side. I have my good side. Right. Yeah.
That looks good.
My turn. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Awesome Facebook fan. Thank you so much.
Okay, go back to practice.
That's right.
Oh, shit. I had to leave practice.
Yes. Thank you, Sheree.
Just trying to get
And now we've got a really neat story about a staff member. So Amanda Latham is our staff spotlight. Amanda saved the day. This was an interesting story. So Amanda's driving our cheer team to a competition, and on the way, they noticed that there's a Lexington ISD school bus broken down on the side of the road. And so Amanda drops off our kids, circles back, gets the Lexington kids to their cheer team competition. And so we thought that was a really neat story. And Cliff Lightfoot, he's the superintendent of Lexington, he emailed us and said, I want to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for Miss Latham's kindness in driving our cheer team to cheer camp after their unfortunate accident. We're blessed in Texas with a caring network of teachers, coaches, sponsors, drivers, and administrators who are quick to feel a need when they see it. Our cheer parents, sponsors, school board, and administration have all expressed their appreciation for your act of kindness. Lexington ISD is blessed to have friends in Gatesville ISD. So we thought that was really a neat story, and Amanda, thank you for doing that. That's quick thinking, and didn't have to do that. I would have just kept driving. And so we thought that was really gracious. And I think poor Lexington had broken down, I think, the year before, and we had helped them. And so anyway, I may send them a bill. But thank you. Amanda, come on up. We'll get her. here too.
Thank you.
That was very sweet.
We're just here for support.
Every time I go to zoom in, it crops off Pollard's head.
It's like my grandma.
Okay.
You're just like,
It's like my grandma. There's no Christmas picture in my head.
1, 2, 3.
Couldn't miss
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did they all leave? That's okay.
Stay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
I assume there are no public comments on any items that are not on the agenda. So we'll go to the consent agenda. These are items that we normally just adopt without spending much time on, as they're just some routine items. Minutes of July 20th, 2026. Minutes of August 4th, 2026. Financial statements as of July 31. Bills and payrolls for July 26. Budget amendments and vital signs report. Does anybody want to pull any of those? If not, do I hear a motion to accept them? Okay, Lloyd, a second. Okay, Cheyenne. So all in favor? Okay, now we have information items, back to school update.
We always have this kind of just generic, topic up on the first August meeting, just so we can talk about back to school, and things went well. It's hot. That's probably one of the main things. But all 5 campuses had a very smooth start. As usual, the arrival traffic the first morning is chaotic, and it's backed up during dismissal, and then by day 2 it's better. And day 3 it's a little bit better. And day 4 it's a little bit better. And so I think after kind of the initial onslaught of people wanting to take their kids to school the very first day, that it wanes from there. We've been getting, with the new later start times, that has helped the athletics and all the others get their majority of their practicing in the morning. You've probably seen in the Waco Tribune-Herald and all the different publications how the wet bulb is a huge topic now. It is the law of the land. It's no longer a suggestion, it is a requirement. And so I think us having beaten the heat in the mornings with cross country and football and all those different things, that's very helpful. So that's been a good thing. We even have to watch the little kids on the playground. So the teachers at the elementary and primary, they look at the heat index, and if it gets a certain temperature, they don't take them outside. And so we got to be really cautious because it's just really, really, really hot. You might have seen a little bit of backlash on social media about buses and air conditioning and can they roll the windows down. That was a big point of consternation on social media. And so in talking with Chris Reddy, our transportation director, all of our buses have running air conditioning on them right now. So if someone asks you that, that's answer number 1. Now, the second thing, though, is to understand that when it's 105 degrees outside, it may be blowing as hard as it can, and it may not be all that comfortable, Or it may be cooling the front pretty well, but the middle and the back are not that great. And so we have told all of our bus drivers it's certainly okay for the kids to roll the windows down to get some circulation. I'm not sure that there was ever any bus driver that said that they couldn't, but just to cover our bases, we told them again a couple of times, drivers, make sure that's okay. They can roll them down. And so I talked to that one parent in particular, called her back and went over those details with her, and she had met with the bus driver, and so things seemed to be better. Another really good thing that happened was the back to school bash that Michelle Martin and Pam hosted at the elementary. They had 38 vendors, 18 hearing screenings, 24 vision, 50 haircuts, over 300 pairs of shoes given out, 75 child ID kits completed, 350 backpacks, and over 200 families helped with more every day coming up and getting school supplies, different things. So really a lot of very appreciative families that day. So it's been a good back to school start. Y'all have any questions about anything regarding the first few days, Calvin?
Yeah, I know the first days, you never know what the enrollment, has it increased, what's the enrollment compared to last year?
Yes, it has. We started lower than we ended, but every day has increased since then. So even today we picked up, what was it?
2464 today. We picked up another 5 since Friday.
Yeah. And so every day we keep getting, we suspect typically the trend is all the way through Labor Day, it keeps going up. And So we're hoping to get back up to kind of where we left off.
So we are ahead of what we were last year.
Yeah.
We left off at 2494.
And we're 24 again.
68. Other good questions? Any other questions about back to school stuff? Other than that, all the kids, they're working. Football, cross country, band, they're all in full force. Thank y'all.
Okay, student handbooks.
We talked about student handbooks and the student code of conduct last meeting, where you actually had to approve the student code of conduct. The handbooks are just for review. We answered some questions last time about them, about some changes. And the campus staff, principals are here today. If you have any other questions, it's just information about them that we've got them finished, finalized, and ready to publish on the website.
And Yancy, you changed the wording on that one thing Lloyd talked about.
Yeah, I tried to make that a little more clear.
Did you understand what I was looking
Yeah,
at?
I read it again, and it was a little, it just sounded like if you could have been taken as argumentative.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Now, if you don't like it, just
Yeah.
go figure it out.
Hey, AI helped me rewrite it. AI helped me rewrite it in a more friendly tone.
She's smart.
Yeah. Any questions about the handbooks? We have the employee handbook, the campus handbooks, DAP, wings. I think that's all that we included in this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yancy.
Now we go to action items, the out-of-state trip to Puerto Rico.
Bonnie's up. Bonnie's got
I
her.
shared my presentation. Can you
Uh,
or if y'all, I
Can you wing it?
I can wing it.
I've also got your, here's also the flyer.
Okay.
Flyer.
That works too. So EF is the same company that we have now used for the last 2 summers. It's Education First. They've been a company for 61 years. They've been doing sponsored trips with students and through schools for over 40 years. I think it's like 45 years. I had that in my presentation.
Yes.
But we've successfully gone to Boston.
Yep.
The first year I took 24, and then me and another teacher sponsor, and then this summer we went to New York. I went with 9 by myself in New York City, and we had a great time, and it was wonderful. And you see lots and lots of things, and are exposed to new places, new people. I think it's wonderful. Lots of museums, historical sites, cultural events. And so Puerto Rico, of course, is still considered a domestic tour. You don't need a passport to go to Puerto Rico. This is a territory. So I'm still working with Kylie Herring, which is our rep through EF. She's wonderful. And so it'd be 5 days, but really 4. Like the first day is mostly travel, and then you get there and you kind of like see a few things, and then you get settled in. And it's 3 days predominantly of looking around San Juan. Some great things to see there. So
Yeah, snorkeling, visit the oldest Spanish fort in the Caribbean, kayak tour.
the bioluminescent bay is what I like. It gets a 4.7 out of 5. There's a teacher that I met on my training tour through EF that her very first trip with EF was the Puerto Rico trip and I have asked her extensively about it, and she said it is the best, easiest trip that she has taken kids on, which shocked me because I felt Boston was like
Super easy.
really easy. Yes, New York was a little bit more challenging because it's New York, but it was still overall that company is just so easy to use. They're so easy to be with. They make things seamless once you get there. The work is all done on my end before we go. Then once we go, it's really pretty simple. But she says, she just tells me over and over again, it's the best trip. You're gonna love it, and it does get a 4.7 out of 5 rating. If you go on their teacher reviews and things, so comes highly recommended as a tour.
So it's around 3,000. That's similar to the other ones.
Mhm.
And they can do some fundraising and
Yep. They can do they have like a GoFundMe page essentially built into their registration, where they can share it with family, friends, and on their socials and say, hey, Grandma, instead of giving me $100 at Christmas, put it towards my trip or something. I've had a lot of students utilize that.
Is it any high school student can go, or is it?
So it'll be available to, we're gonna go in 2028. So I'm changing it from every summer to every other summer. Just because I just don't think we have the demographic or the population to support every summer. I went from 24 the first year to 9 the second year. So I just think it's more feasible to try and do it every other year. So we're going to go in 2028, which that means it's the current 8th graders through the current 11th graders is who it would be available to.
Well, I would recommend that the board approve the proposed out-of-state trip to Puerto Rico for the summer of 2028.
Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion to accept that? Okay, Calvin, second Emily, all in favor? Got it.
Thank you all very much.
Have fun. Bond sale results.
Well, tonight we have Brian Grubbs here again. It's been a while since we've seen Brian. Brian's got some good updates for us on the sale of the bonds, and how all the financial stuff has been going.
The results today from the bond sale. All right. Well, again, we took bids earlier this morning on the first installment of bonds. Just as a reminder, at the top of the page, the bond election parameters themselves. The voters approved $26 million with the expectation for the IRS tax rate to remain at the 20 cents, which is what we're structuring, and I'll show you that here in a moment. We did have some taxable value assumptions in that model and some interest rate assumptions. At the time, the interest rate was assumed to be 4.75. We actually locked in an interest rate on the first bond sale totaling $15 million at just under 4.3. So we're in good shape with respect to the interest rate. Our taxable value did not grow as much as we had thought that it might in the original model, but again, that's why we make multiple assumptions, and you also have a very healthy INS fund balance which you can draw on. So the second bullet there, again, we issued $15 million. You'll have $11 million to issue, which we are targeting for this time next summer after we receive next year's certified value. The bonds that we sold today were AAA rated based on the permanent school fund guarantee, and your underlying credit rating at AA3 was affirmed by Moody's. That is a very strong underlying credit rating. So when bidders go in and bid on your $15 million this morning, they may not necessarily know where Gatesville ISD is, but they see a very strong underlying credit rating, and that's what lends itself to the bids themselves. The winning bid was provided by the Baker Group at just a little over 4.29%. But if you'll notice, you had 10 total bidding firms. That is a very sizable turnout. Now, within those firms, this may represent 15 to 20, if not more, interested parties, because some of these individuals will bid as groups to where one firm submits the bid, but in the event that they win the $15 million, they disperse the liability to their bond buyer. So all in all, a very good turnout. When we do close the transaction, which is scheduled to occur on September the 15th, everything that we do, did bond election as well as bond sale, goes to the Attorney General's office. So when I leave this evening, we'll begin submitting those to the AG's office. It takes them a few weeks, but on September 15th, you're going to receive 2 deposits. You're going to receive the $15 million to your construction fund and just under $283,000 into your INS account that represents some accrued interest and some additional INS monies to help you manage the INS tax rate. Now, keep in mind, these bonds are paid back over a 20-year period, which is consistent with what our original model was, but they do become callable in 10 years. So when we get to 2036, to the extent that we could refinance and lower the interest rate, or to the extent that we had excess to begin paying down principal that you've done historically before, you'll have an opportunity to do so on this as well. The second page is a look at the cash flows themselves. So under column 2, this is your outstanding debt service going into our bond sale. Column 3 represents the locked in debt service on the $15 million at the 4.3%. And then as you can see, we have the placeholder under column 4 for the $11 million. Now keep in mind, because this issue size was $15 million or less, and the next issue size will be $15 million or less, these bonds in your construction fund interest earnings are not subject to arbitrage rebate by the IRS. So you can earn as much as you want, as much of an interest rate, and you don't have to rebate any of your earnings back to the IRS. So then if you look at column 11 to the far right, you'll see just below the solid blue line, that's our 20-cent target for this upcoming fiscal year at the $1.1 billion taxable value. And then you can see it drops in the future because we do have the placeholder for the 11 million that we will come back to you this time next year. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you have for me this evening.
So Brian, you said September 15th, we get the 15 million in the construction account, and then in the INS account, we get 280,000?
200, and it's just under 283,000, yes,
Okay.
sir, on the same day.
We appreciate Brian helping us with all this strategic stuff, like keeping it under 15 million, so we're not subject to the tax. All that adds up. It's all very helpful.
Do I hear a motion that we accept this proposal? Okay, Emily, a second? All right, got it. Any further discussion? You need more time to look at it. Okay, all in favor? All right.
Brian,
Thank y'all.
has that satisfied everything you
We're in
need?
good shape.
And you got all your paperwork and stuff?
We're good.
Okay.
Outta here.
Good job. Brian,
Thank
thank
y'all.
you so much.
All right, Huckabee's design development package.
Got Mike Boyle here. Looks like Harry Cloud is coming in the door as we speak. Harry is our builder, and of course Mike is our lead architect from Huckabee. And so they've just finished up the design phase, and so Mike's got some.
Yeah. Are you able to bring up the presentation there? Because I will tell you, I printed everything out to give you all hard copies, and I left the presentation drawings at the office, but I do have hard copies of the cost summary. Okay, so So what we're here tonight is want to present to you the design development phase. So the last time that you reviewed and approved something was the schematic design phase. So this is really the final approval. We're moving into the construction document phase, where we'll finalize our drawings that will then allow Cloud Construction to release that for bids for subcontractors and suppliers. So within this packet, some of this information looks familiar. We have a lot of kind of background on the context of how we got here with the design, the engagement with the different stakeholders, which was very valuable for us. A lot of back and forth talking about what does the scope of work need to look like, how do we balance that with the needs of the budget, since those needs always exceed, or the wants always exceed what the budget will allow. And so we'll walk through that. This shows program of spaces. So again, it's just kind of logging what spaces need to be in the building, what are their sizes, how many, to make sure that we have our checklist. So this first image here is just looking at what are the existing conditions from an aerial view of the site, looking at the junior high and the high school field house area, and showing areas in red that indicate demolition of some of that site work, some of the paving and drives and parking lot, to prepare us for the additions and modifications, which are reflected in the next slide, where we start to see what does that look like then, looking at the gold areas around the existing junior high there in the lower left-hand corner, looking at those classroom additions, the fine arts addition, the new entry, and then how all that ties together with new drives and entry points to the site, getting additional parking over there next to the gym, improving our bus circulation on the north side of the site off of Marshall, improving our drop-off and pickup area for parents off of Lover's Lane. And then looking at the dark blue of the new field house building with the light blue to the north of that, indicating the stormwater detention pond to catch all of your rainwater runoff and do that hopefully better than what it's doing right now. Any questions about overall kind of site concept and approach there before we get into some of the interior and imagery of the building? Mr. Ford, did you have something? Okay.
Right now.
Is that another detention pond by the parking lot?
Yes, thanks for asking that. Over at the junior high, where we have the new parking lot between the parking and the baseball field, we did have to capture some of that water runoff, so we will have a small detention pond there as well. And that'll help, that should help us with overall management of water flow on the site, which is a little challenging right now. We'll eventually take all of that water continuing south, and then we've already talked to TxDOT, and we're tying into their stormwater system there at the roadway, and we'll have an improved water flow there on the east side of the baseball field compared to what's there now.
And I'm assuming that's not to scale. Or is it that big?
It's that one's diagrammatic for
See
illustration
it.
purposes here,
Yeah.
but we have more detailed drawings of what that looks like. And that is really just a kind of a grassy depression area. It's not a bunch of concrete walls or anything highly structured.
Is the walkway from that parking lot to the baseball field kind of up against the gym right there?
That's correct. Yeah. And so there'll be a link that takes people that park in that lot over to the gym, and also that sidewalk will continue to connect between the junior high and the baseball field, which will be important when we're looking at some of the construction phasing, because that new parking lot will likely be built first, so that Cloud Construction can work on the additions for the fine arts piece on the backside of the school, which will disrupt that existing parking area. So you'll have some protected pedestrian flow going through there. Yes, sir.
I know you're looking at the junior high area, but all that water that comes off around the football field and the stadium and the practice fields and whatever,
That
that drainage ditch, it is an enormous amount of water on Marshall Street.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way you can tie all that together?
So we are definitely making it a better situation than it is now, but we can't correct all of the problems that exist there, because what's happening is that water coming down Marshall Street, it has nowhere to really go. And so we can't really address the city's deficiencies on their drainage system. But what we're trying to do is slow that water down and give it a place to collect on our site in a controlled way instead of an uncontrolled way like it is now. The other thing that we're doing over there by the football field, right now you get flooding events occurring at your pole vault area, and so we're improving the way that the water flows through that area down towards Marshall Street, and actually trying to take it under the street so it doesn't just dump into
Can
the
you
street.
take it under Marshall Street?
Under Marshall Street, yes, sir.
That'd help a bunch.
Yep. All right. So the next series of images are looking at the junior high and what those improvements look like. So this is from Lover's Lane, looking towards the new building entry. And we took what we heard in previous board meetings, which was, make it something that's functional and pragmatic and blends with the school and really is not opulent. So we've really been very thoughtful about how do we provide the shade and the protection for people coming out of the building without it looking too grand. So we hope that we're capturing that, and we're taking brick that would match the existing building down low, mixing that with some metal panel so that we can break down the scale of the building, and also it helps us save some costs by using some metal panel. This is another view of that front area looking towards the Fine Arts Edition. And then this is on the other side of the building, looking at the classroom addition from Marshall Street. We have some canopy out there to protect students for bus pickup and drop off.
That'd be good.
The roof, is it slanted, I hope, and not flat?
So that lower roof that's providing the shade, it's what we call a pre-engineered, pre-manufactured structure. So it basically has an integrated drainage system in there, and it drains through the columns that support that structure. So it does have a slight slope to it, but it's going to look flat, but it's designed specifically to carry the water for that.
The only thing I know is if you make a flat roof, it's eventually going to leak.
Yes, we agree,
So
and
it won't slope on it.
And we're actually making some slight improvements on the existing building where we do have some slope issues. So as we add on to it, we're addressing some of those challenges to prevent long-term issues like what you're just talking about. And then this is looking over at the field house building. So we have some brick on the about 4 feet up to the windowsill height, so it's protecting it from mowers and rocks and students banging up against it. And then we transition to the metal panel, just like at the junior high. And being strategic about windows, those are for office areas that support athletics in there. And then some protection at the doors to keep that wind-driven rain from getting into the building. And another view looking at it, this end of the building is actually designed for expansion in the future, so some additional elements can be added on coming this direction. This is looking more specifically at some of the building materials that have been chosen. And then this is looking at some plan views. So the areas that have the diagonal hatch line are areas that are not included in this scope of work. As y'all know, there was some summer work that went on, making some improvements to lighting and ceilings and so forth. So those areas we're leaving as is. We're doing the restroom renovations, the SPED suite, making improvements to those classrooms and the restroom there. We've got improvements at the auditorium for the new seating, for ADA access, improvements to the sound in there, fresh coat of paint and curtains, and then the fine arts components surrounding that area with your band and choir and theater arts. So when we get over here to the small gym, we have the bleacher removal and replacement with the retractable bleachers. And then we've shifted some spaces around to make sure we're capturing the storage needs that are lost in that removal. And then we have the permanent enclosed corridor space that connects over to the large gym. Classroom additions on that side, and then this is the field house with all the locker rooms and support spaces, coaches' offices, storage, restrooms. And then there's an option for that future addition with meeting room and classroom space on the north side. And then the next series of drawings, we just can flip through them pretty quickly. This is looking at some of the floor finishes in there just to indicate where we have tile versus carpet tile. And then some images. This is in the new entry vestibule for the junior high. So bringing in the branding, really starting to kind of tie that together with some of the things that you've done at the high school. So you've got some consistency across the district and give that branding identity there. The reception area, once you come in, we've got a display case in there. We've got a digital board where you can have different messages and just a nice welcoming atmosphere. And then in the auditorium, creating handicap seating and replacing those seats, which will go a long way to improving acoustics in there. Just the seats alone, you'd be surprised what those do. Some fresh paint on the wall and curtains and so forth. So it'll really brighten up that space and make it a lot more functional compared to what you have now.
Looks a lot better.
This is a view of the band hall, giving them opportunities to display trophies as they collect those over time. And just a good we're using some of those acoustic panels on the wall that we need to have have it be the right performance type of space or practice space, but bringing in some of those school colors to brighten it up in the process. And then looking at the schedule, really still looking at the same construction start timeline as we did when we presented schematic design. This seems to tie in well with your bond sales timeline as well. So. Any questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Ford.
Well, first of all, is that parking lot right out here where they go in, is that they're gonna do away with that parking lot, am I correct?
So that existing loop, that's gonna get reworked. There will actually be better structured parking for visitors there. And then we'll have a better defined set of lanes for pickup and drop off. So it'll be 2 lanes for pickup and drop off, and then a bypass lane for anybody that needs to just get through and pull in or out of those parking spaces. So we would have loved to have really increased the length of that queuing space to get more cars off the street, but you just have so many physical constraints here. That was about the best we could do.
Well, I have several questions, I'm sorry. And this, right out here, this is where you're gonna put the theater choir is gonna come out here.
Correct. It'll come into this existing parking lot out here, so we'll lose some spaces, but also recreate some spaces. So you'll pick up some new ones over out front. You'll lose a few here, but then you're going to gain some more at the new lot by the gym. So on a typical day, you know, your staff and visitors are going to park in the front and over here, and then when you have a special event, that's when you're going to really see that other parking lot used more. You'll probably have coaches parking every day in that new lot by the gym. Whoever finds that more convenient in terms of staff would maybe use that one. And we'll have, you'll have some access control door if you want to use that to have a way for staff to get in instead of going all the way around the building.
So, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So all of the junior high, I'm referring to, like the classroom, the theater, that should be done by the beginning of next year, not.
So we're going to come back with Cloud in another visit to really map out what the construction timeline looks like, because there's a lot of things that have to happen first. There's some site utilities that need to happen with where electrical service is coming in, and your communications and gas line, all that gets affected. Then they'll be working, most likely the next piece will be on parking and drives and getting some of those up and going before they start on the building additions. They're also going to need to look at timing of next summer, like what's reasonable to do in terms of interior renovation work, trying to minimize any impact you would have during a school year for things inside the building. And so collectively as a group, we'll come back to the board and present a more specific timeline. And we'll work with the campus first on that to make sure that works with everything that we know and understand for their functionality. And then we'll have a better picture to present to you guys.
Yeah, because I think it was not my thinking that they should know exactly what's probably the most important thing that they want. Because you don't think the classroom is not going to be, I mean, I'm thinking the classroom will be, but that's just me. They know more than what I know.
And the timing, the classroom addition will be completed before we take the portable classrooms out of commission.
Yeah.
So the timing of that is we have to have those done first, get those students and teachers moved in before we can remove those portables. So it's a very strategic chess game of figuring out how all those parts and pieces come together.
And how many additional, I know I'm talking so much, how many additional restrooms are they gonna? Because I was over in Hamilton the other day, and Hamilton junior high kids only have one bathroom.
Right. This has been discussed quite a bit because it has been a big concern for the junior high campus. So in addition to renovating the existing restrooms, there's a whole new set of student restrooms plus a staff restroom in the north addition where we're doing the new classrooms. There's also a new set of restrooms in the fine arts addition, again, also with a staff restroom. So we're basically doubling the amount of restrooms that are currently in that building.
That's all the questions I have. Quiet.
Can you go back to the slide that you showed us where the hall connects the side of the building and then back into the fine arts? I have a question
Okay.
about that. It shows the auditorium. Yeah.
Right, this one.
Okay,
Yes.
here's my question. This is band?
So we have choir, and I think because this is cutting off the bottom, we can scroll up if we need to. So it's choir, main band hall, and then percussion practice room next
So
to it.
how,
We're good to go now.
how big is this door?
So this,
Is it big enough to get instruments and all that stuff in there?
it is, but the primary use would actually be, we have an overhead coiling door here that's about
Here?
about 8 feet wide, so it can go straight on the
Okay, that was
stage.
my question, because getting all that stuff in there.
Right.
And where is this restroom?
So there's restrooms right here. So in the girls, we have 4 toilets and 3 toilets plus a urinal in the boys, and then there's a staff restroom here.
Is there any possible access to this parking lot, to this band hall?
We talked about that, and we could furnish that, but there was a concern with the more doors you put on there, the more opportunities you have for those doors to be propped and have people compromising the security of the building. So we have doors at either end here, and this is actually a loading zone. So our thought is they can load and unload over here for traveling from the junior high to, let's say, a performance at the high school or something outside of Gatesville if need be. But that was discussed with the campus. We kind of went back and forth and settled on not putting additional doors in there.
I found that kind of interesting.
I know, so I said, but
As a band director, I would sure want to be able to unload it in the parking lot, not drag it all up and down the hall. But who am I to say?
We'll get James to look at it.
the old auditorium, exactly how many kids did it hold? And then the new one, how many is it gonna hold, you know?
So in terms of seating, the new one has about 300 seats. The current one, I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't remember the count off the top of my head. It is a reduction because the other thing we're doing in there at the request of the campus is we're actually extending the stage out a little bit. They wanted a little more of a thrust stage for a couple different reasons. The other thing that's magic for us about the 300 is when we start to modify that auditorium, once you exceed 300 seats, you have to disperse your handicap seats throughout the auditorium. So you would have some in the front, some in the middle, some in the back. If we stay at 300 or less, we can put them all at the back, which allows us to provide those seats in a more economical way, so we don't have to tear out the whole floor structure of the auditorium to get access throughout it. So that's why we really want to target 300. Plus, it just so happened that worked out in terms of being able to have the handicap access up to the stage, an area for your soundboard and AV board at the back, and get your stage extension that the campus has asked for. But I can circle back and get with Dr. Pollard so he can share with you what that difference is between.
Susie, do you know how many's in there?
Yeah.
I feel like the number 362 is stuck in my head for some reason.
I could be mistaken on that, but I think it was anywhere from 50 to 60 reduction when we talked about it.
So how many kids do y'all actually have in junior high? You know?
Today?
I mean, well, because that,
As
could
of
you
today,
fit all?
384.
384?
Mhm.
Could you show, I'm sorry, could you show the picture of the field house one more time?
You want to see the interior plan layout, or you want to see
No,
the
just-
exterior?
Just the exterior.
Exterior, okay.
So where
So this is.
does the equipment come in and out of the building to go to the ball games?
So they have, right here, this feeds into the storage room, so there's access from the interior corridor, but then there's also access from the outside. So this is facing away from the field. The field is this direction. Coach actually wanted the locker rooms facing the field so that they were able to exit out and come back in through the outside on that side.
Anybody else have questions? Okay, the motion is to approve the design development package. Do I hear a motion to accept that? Okay, Calvin, do I hear a second? Okay, Emily, any further discussion or questions? All in favor? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. Perry, anything to add? Perry's the one that actually is going to build this thing.
No, we're looking forward to getting started. Lots of moving pieces, and we have been looking at the schedule pretty much detail, and I think we have about 2 different versions of it, and a lot of that's going to depend on what the school do. So we'll be getting with that.
I know this is just a structure, but when are they gonna actually start also in the intermediate roofing? Will that?
We don't have a set schedule on the intermediate roofing right now. There's a few different options on how to do the roofing there. We've looked at several different scenarios. In fact, I got some new info that I'll be sharing with Dr. Pollard here shortly. Some preliminary pricing from a few different additional roofing companies.
Is it less?
Is it less? We were exploring some different methods of how to cost effectively address leaks and concerns with the roof, and do it in a way that you guys aren't sinking a bunch of money into that building. The roofing has just become so expensive. It's really shocking when you start to get these bids and look at what it is, and we want to be mindful of getting a good life extension on that roof. So right now, what Dr. Pollard pulled up, we've got $500,000 in there for the roofing. To do a full roof replacement, it can be significantly more than that, and some of that comes with the fact that as you're doing one of these old roofs and you have all your mechanical equipment sitting up there, you end up having to take that equipment off and raise the curbs to flash those in correctly, and you spend just as much money on all that ancillary activity as you do the roof itself. So we're trying to find a way, can we leave everything in place and still get you a better performing roof? And then that way we're not moving around a bunch of old mechanical equipment, because you never know. Sometimes you go put it back and it doesn't work anymore. It worked before, but so.
The roof has been a problem since the building opened. My first year there, we got tickled. There's an incline that goes up the hall as you're headed to the band hall and that area. It became a beautiful waterfall after the first big rain when the school opened. Even though the kids enjoyed tromping through it. All of my years there at the intermediate school, we've had to work on that design of that roof.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is. It just doesn't work.
We know what the problem is to really fully address it, it becomes a multi-million-dollar effort. So we're trying to find the more pragmatic solution so that you can really stretch your dollars, get a good another 10 years out of that roof, and then
I think it might be flat.
Yeah.
Well, you guys laugh about it, but there is a section that's under the recommended minimum slope.
We know because we go up on the roof to get the volleyballs to throw.
Have you ever been on the roof at junior high?
I have not.
Very few people have. When you get up there, that thing is nothing but one big solid rubber mat. Is what it is. And where the seams were, they've got all that sealed off. And you're walking just on a rubber mat on the whole roof on that building.
Okay, extracurricular.
Mike, that's your cue.
In other words, next. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Just joking with you.
These are some more mundane matters. The 4-H, we do this every year where the 3 reps from 4-H are considered adjunct faculty. So when the kids go on a field trip, they can be counted like they're in attendance. And so those 3 are Robert Ferguson, Becky Coward, and Donna Schwausch. And they've been doing it a long time. So my recommendation is to approve the resolution allowing 4-H to be considered an extracurricular activity, as well as approve that the Coryell County Extension staff be considered adjunct faculty.
Any discussion? Do I hear a motion? Cheyenne, seconded by Charles. All in favor? That's a good one. Okay, recommended adult meal prices.
Evening, y'all. Last month I brought to y'all the new prices for breakfast and lunch for the kids, and we didn't change anything. We were waiting for the adult prices because the state puts out a little calculation sheet that you have to do to find out what your minimum could be. So our minimum for adult prices had to change, although we didn't have to change for the students, thank goodness. But our adult prices, they actually came in 20 cents higher for breakfast from $3.40 to $3.60, and lunches raised 15 cents from $5.25 to $5.40. The calculations actually came in a few pennies below that. We rounded them to the even 5 cents so that we didn't have pennies. It did come out to like, I don't know, $3.57 or something like that for breakfast. So we just rounded it up to $3.60, and the same for lunch so that we could meet that minimum threshold. So our recommendation is that the board approve the rate changes for adult meals for $3.60 for breakfast and $5.40 for lunch.
And that's as least you can according to the law.
That's the least I can do according to the law.
Do I hear a motion? Emily, a second. Calvin, all in favor? Okay, casualty insurance.
All right, we were waiting for this to come in because this is our most expensive bill, singular bill that we have for our new budget. And I'm happy to say that the market is finally softening and our property and casualty is coming lower this year than it was last year. And so last year, our bill was $477,925, and this year it's going to be $448,862. So we dropped $29,000. So we were very excited about this, about 6%. And it is with the same company that we used last year, which is TPS. They worked well with us, we had no problems, and they were the ones that gave us the best deal. So we went with our same broker that we used last year, and this was the best he could do. He farms it out and sees what he can find out. And PCAT, the one we used before, called me and asked me, and I told him where we were, and he said there was no way he could touch it. So he didn't even bother to give us anything. So I'm excited that it has decreased this much. This is the second year in a row, so we're now 67,000 decrease from 2 years ago. So we're going in the right direction, thank goodness. This will change just a little bit because we're in the process of buying that building, and we're also in the process of getting 2 new buses. So in September, when all that goes through, we'll have to get I'll bring you an update because it'll change just a little bit, but they're not thinking it'll change very much from where we're at right now. So in order for us to have insurance on September 1st, we need to go ahead and approve what we have right now. And so we're recommending that we approve this policy with TPS for our property and casualty insurance for 26-27 school year at $448,862.
Any
Thoughts?
further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, Cheyenne, do I hear a second? Calvin, all in favor? You got it.
Thank y'all.
This concludes the meeting. It is 6:25. Executive session.